Monday morning, guys. Welcome. This is Onside with me, Joshua Holotu, and I bidding Komobebre. The transfers happening. So many stories coming up from Europe and also from across the world in the world of sports. But guys, we'll do that discussion very soon after you have subscribed to the channel, turned on your post notifications, and also clicked on the all button so that anytime I drop a video, you'll be one of the first people to receive it. Guys, thank you so much for all those who are returning viewers. I'm really grateful that you're here. If this is your first time watching, this is Onside. My name is Joshua Holotu, and I'm really grateful that you're here to watch my analysis on the football that we play, the sport that we love the best, and also to talk about the transfer stories that Koso across the world. And so welcome and get ready, get seated, and let's dig into the stories. Now, a couple of things are happening, right? We'll talk about Marcus Rashford because he's returning to Manchester United. Looks like Michael Carrick wants the player back. Then we also have some stories concerning a couple of players who are making rounds, trying to see if they could move. Barcelona are looking to see if they could get Eli Junior Krupi as a replacement if they miss out on Julian Alvarez. And between today and tomorrow, we'll get Julian Alvarez and the latest a free player and also Eba because Neyeti and say and then Obe resume training. And I think between today and tomorrow, no Obe Peso champagne for to discuss his future and whether he would really want to put in a transfer request to leave Atletico Madrid to go to Barcelona. And if that doesn't work, one of the alternatives that Barcelona may look to go for Eli Junior Krupi. So we'll keep our eyes on that as well. Now, there has been a swap deal between Crystal Palace and Everton, and the players involved are Brennan Johnson as well as Dwight McNeil. So both teams are swapping these players and they are going opposite direction. I'll tell you about that particular deal and what is all in it. But we're going to see Brennan Johnson move from Crystal Palace to Everton. We're going to see Dwight McNeil move from Everton to Crystal Palace. And when you look at Brennan Johnson in Puna, I think just about last season he moved from team my friend in Tottenham Hotspur to go and play at Crystal Palace. And at this point he's moving again. I really don't know what is wrong with that player. I don't even think there's anything wrong. Perhaps he's just not been that type. He's been able to fit in the tactical setups of air managers or Marco Fanaba. And another thing is that you see when clubs change managers and new managers come in, sometimes the kind of vision that they have is not something that aligns with every player. So that's where we see some of these things happen. Into when we say player be or say on coach be a plans. So that player needs to find a way to move. And I think those are some of the things that are affecting this particular player and the deal that is reportedly trying to go through for him, the swap deal between the two clubs. But also when you look at the news, Lamine Camara, Senegalese international, he looks like he may leave Team IFN AS Monaco to go elsewhere. I'll tell you the team that he's reportedly going to move to, but that particular bid has already been rejected. Player friend Lamine Camara. I'll tell you briefly about Tima and what could happen with that particular deal for the player. And it's very instructive because as it stands right now, no. Yeah, so Crystal Palace submitted an offer of 50 million euros for player Lamine Camara, but that bid has actually been rejected. And another team that is looking for Air Branton, Nottingham Forest, Manchester United, and Liverpool, they are all interested in the 22-year-old. And Monaco wants more money, much more than the 50 million euros for Branton Lamine Camara. And that would even be a steal, Bisamia, because the guy is very good and 22-year-old for the kind of potential in the future that he has. I'd have even been tasking Monaco to sell the player for at least nothing less than 80 million euros. But this is the first bid that Crystal Palace has submitted. So let's see in the coming days whether they will go back with a different bid or whether or not they will decide against it. But he's a player who, if he comes into the Premier League, he follows in the steps of Iliman Ndiaye, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Sadio Mane, and Ismail Assar, who are Senegalese players who have successfully fit in the Premier League, and he is looking to come to Crystal Palace. Ismail Assar is already in Crystal Palace, so I'm thinking that is where the idea is coming from. Say Yankofa Senegalese player, or yeah, quite good, and he's young and he has a future. And I mean, let's see how that will turn out. It could potentially be something that would look to see the teams complete. But an opinion, so Spanish journalist, I find Gerard Romero is dedicating his entire morning to monitoring player if Julian Alvarez for wherever he's going to move to, because these are the days where we're going to hear more, because the players returning to training, and we're going to hear more stories as to whether he's going to push for the move. Like I was saying, so Gerard Romero, Spanish journalist, he's following the player, making sure that he gets all the updates. So I'll be giving you more from his side. Now, guys, listen, 8 minutes ago, breaking news. Arsenal have reportedly set a minimum asking price for 78 million Martin ZUBIMENDI, 78 million pounds Martin ZUBIMENDI, amidst interest from Real Madrid and Chelsea. The Gunners signed a midfielder for around 60 million pounds last summer, but Bruno G's arrival has increased competition for places. Real Madrid are monitoring ZUBIMENDI, while Chelsea could also enter the race due to Xabi Alonso's admiration of the 27-year-old player. Mundo Deportivo. I have a little reservation about this particular news, because maybe the same way Tremon saying, I say Xabi Alonso can say he admires the player, but I don't think that the player was necessarily the person he wanted to go for, because our market more say options are person or can to help in your midfield. No, number one, Alex Scott. Number two, Adam Horton. Number three, Martin Zubimendi. If you line these three players up, and now Okase Abia or Pebakwa, I don't think Xabi Alonso would necessarily go for Martin Zubimendi. I admire the player myself. When I watch him for Arsenal, he looks like a player who can have that IQ to help the midfield to be able to function properly. But I don't say, if you want a player that has a profile to be a bit combative, because Chelsea needs a bit more combativeness in the midfield. I've watched how we played the preseason. I've watched Dario Esu, I've watched Romeo Lavia, I've watched Moise Caicedo come back. But if you ask me, I thought that we needed one more player who could literally carry the ball. That's number one. Number two, is able to be combative, is a bit strong. Number three, preferably a left-footed player, because all the options we have, right-footed players. Right-footed players. Caicedo is right, Enzo is right, Lavia is right, Esuo is right. We needed a left-footed player who is able to stand in that midfield and utilize that ingenuity with his left foot to be able to make some turns, make some runs, and get into the space, contribute to attack. That player is Abrantia, friend, Adam Horton. Yeah, Adam Horton is that player. And I really wished that Chelsea would have gone for that player. But this is what Newcastle is saying. Sorry, Crystal Palace is saying that the player is not going for anything less than 86 million pounds. Recently, I brought you the story that Manchester United for no Eddie player and Sunechi. They want to try and get that player to come and play for them. I really think that at this point, if Chelsea ever considers ZUBIMENDI, that's 78 million into Fakakraka and convince Crystal Palace. Already, we've done business with Crystal Palace. We've taken Abrantia, a friend, Maxence Lacroix, or Babisia Kayama Chelsea. So if Chelsea are a bit smart, right, they could even have some discussions with Crystal Palace with Axel Dizazi. Axel Dizazi, now we are looking for a team for him to move to. He could even move that direction. And that's Nicholas Jackson. A lot of Chelsea fans are saying, say Nicholas Jackson after I know a game, Yokobo Thailand no. Malaysia no. Nicholas Jackson is a player who may really fit into Xabi Alonso's plans. But I don't think necessarily said that may be the case. Look, Chelsea at this point, the attacking options that we have, Joao Pedro, Danny Welbeck. I thought that there could be one more, Abia Emmanuel Emega. Abia Nicholas Jackson is one player you may want to add. But I don't... Fine, maybe he may not be the leading marksman, but he may not also want to be on the bench. Because Danny Welbeck will... Instead, Joao Pedro Mpune start here, Danny Welbeck will bench our train. And Nicholas Jackson, one of the main reasons why he even went to Bayern was because he wasn't getting playing time. So I don't think he would want to necessarily sit on the bench. He will sit on the bench most of the time and he'll be used for FA Cup games, Carabao games, those fringe games. He will end up becoming a fringe player. And I don't think that's one thing that Nicholas Jackson... So he really wanted to prove his point. Look, I don't think Nicholas Jackson is a player who needs to stay at Chelsea this summer. I thought he was going to Aston Villa. That deal has run cold. So let's keep our eyes on the ground. Chelsea, if we can do some business with Crystal Palace and help Adam Horton move and come and join Chelsea, I'll be very happy. So Martin Zubimendi, yes, he's a good player, but I don't think Chelsea really needs him per se to come and join the fray. In the 8 minutes breaking news, Eba Now, Ferran Torres, I think he's going to move to PSG because already he's been discussed in the news as having agreed with Abrantia Yefeno, Rodrigo Cascante Hernandez, or Barcelona on fee because he's moving. So this is according to Gigantes FC. They are reporting that particular story. So we'll keep our tabs on that as well. Now, Benfica manager Marco Silva wants Chelsea centre back Tosin Adarabioyo to strengthen his defense. The 28-year-old previously worked under Silva for 3 seasons at Fulham before later joining Chelsea. Adarabioyo has emerged as the defender Silva would like to sign for Benfica. And this is according to Correro de Manha. I don't commit that move. I agree. Tosin is 28 years old. Before this season, he was seen as one of Chelsea 4 leaders on the pitch in terms of players. Nafa. I think, say at this point, Tosin needs to leave. Maxence Lacroix, but this season only a bit more. And with the introduction of Danny Welbeck as well as Jordan Henderson, I think in terms of leadership, the team is set. Unless Xabi Alonso sees something different in him. Because at this point, I don't see how Tosin improves the team. And with the inclusion of Maxence Lacroix, say Levi Kowo and Swaba, and with the defense and how it's looking, no, I really ABA this has to be free. This has to be free, but they should be free. Already, Trevor Chalobah is free. So I don't know whether or not Tosin may be seen as an alternative this season to Maxence Lacroix, Levi Kowo, Rhys James, and Co. But if you asked me, I thought that was a good time for him to leave. It was Benfica that he had to go. I think that was okay. Because Tosin Amegbewashi, as the guys would say, he's not really good. Or Costier will give him small. Sometimes the absent-mindedness, the way I will see tackle, no, it's just too poor to have in a Chelsea team as a person winning titles, a person significant things. Europe, England. I don't think he's the one who needs to be there at this point. Sadio never go through because Benfica no more Branson. So Everton and Fulham are interested in signing Barcelona defender Hector Fort on a permanent deal this summer. Guys, look at the mid-table teams in England. Mid-table form. Fulham near Everton. Hector Fort. Now, Barcelona have given the 28-year-old permission to leave, with Inter and Liverpool also showing interest. Recent Santander have offered a loan, but Barcelona would prefer a secure permanent transfer for the player. Into Hector Fort, moving away from Tima, your friend of Barcelona, possibly to the Premier League. Then also, guys, news. Liverpool could allow GAKPO to join Tottenham if they strengthen their attacking options before the window closes. The Reds are pursuing PSG's winger Bradley Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye, with both arrivals potentially clearing GAKPO's exit. Tottenham may need to offer at least £70 million, while Liverpool have no plans to sell without replacement arriving. See, I've said it. We've talked about Bradley Barcola, Ibrahim Mbaye. Potentially, Liverpool could be spending at least £150 million for those 2 players. But a lot of negotiations need to still be done. Andoni Raiola, after playing a preseason game and boy or Anfield, and they lost that game, no, it looks like currently he really needs those replacements. Yes, eyes are on Liverpool, not because of the transfer business they have to do now, but because of the mere fact that when you look at last season, they made a lot of transfer business, broke the record twice in one window. And that is the reason why Nkofo Bebre, Eddie Nkomo said they have to perform, and Andoni Raiola, they have no excuse whatsoever. So whether they buy more players now, they will still have a lot of pressure on them. They have to deliver. Andoni Raiola is a new manager. He needs to perform. You have the players at your disposal, right? You've bought, and you need to get the most out of them. When you look at Andoni Raiola, no, his style has always been spoken about as coach ultimately developing players, ultimately for young players, and helps them to go on a certain trajectory which is positive for 2, 3, 4 seasons. Can he do the same with players like Abrante friend Rio Ngomoha, right? Curtis Jones, and all the other French players that were there who have now returned from loan and are trying to seek a place in this. Look, a lot has to go down this particular period and this particular season for Andoni Raiola if he really has to prove a point that he's the manager capable of coaching team at Liverpool. So we'll keep our eyes on Liverpool particular, because to allow GAKPO to leave Liverpool, I don't think that would be a disaster if they've managed to help players like Bradley Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye come and join them. And when they get those 2 attacking players, I doubt whether they'll be wanting to go for Abrante friend Pedro Neto from Chelsea. And still, the interest of Pedro Neto is there from both Liverpool and Manchester City. But Manchester City is quite stronger. They are reportedly trying to send a bid of £81 million. And I don't think that Chelsea would agree, because I really feel like Pedro Neto is in the plans of Xabi Alonso. He may not want to sell, but you never know. Chelsea are in the business to maximize profit. We bought Pedro Neto, Mabeka Chamusan same way that £53 million. We bought it for £53 million. In the say Chelsea for £81 million for Pedro Neto, I don't think they'll blink. They'll let the player go. They'll let the player go. But let's see. We never know. Ayub Buwadi and his camp have now reached an agreement on personal terms with Manchester City. Manchester City expect to seal the deal with Lille as next step, already advanced, as Buwadi preference would be to join City now rather than in 2027. Now, because I same way and saying, I said, one of the things that Lille were trying to struggle with Man City on, with the dealer on person year for Brant and Ayub Buwadi, was whether Ayub Buwadi, after the signing, would join Man City now, or he will have to wait until 2027 to join, because that was what Lille were proposing. Now, on person will keep playing for one more season. Now, on board for Lille. Then after that, he would make that move to a Manchester City. But Man City need a player now, because of course, Rodri Cascante Hernandez may leave. In fact, he's on the verge of leaving. He's on the verge of joining Air Barcelona. So once he leaves, a replacement needs to come. I don't think they'll get Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. That's Man City. So Ayub Buwadi is the ideal replacement, 22-year-old. He comes in. Enzo Maresca has a tool he can literally use for a long time and train and help to understand the game that he needs him to play. I think Ayub Buwadi is a good deal. Now that they have reached an agreement with him in terms of personal terms, I think that's good. And getting him to come and play now is better, because then you instantly get a fit who gets into the team and is ready to work. I know see a free Abrantia, a friend, or Ayub Buwadi in the camp Airbar. Then Ferran Torres is also expected to leave Air Barcelona to PSG. I've already told you that. We'll get some updates from there later in the day. Then Chalobah, yes, guys, Chalobah has also been confirmed as new Congo signing. 30 million fixed fee with 6 million euros add-ons and also a sell-on clause. The Chelsea would make more money from Trevor Chalobah in the future if he is to leave Como and go to any other team, and also based on performance-related, clauses that has also. Lucadinha, guys, Lucadinha has been confirmed as new PSG player. He's moved from Tima Yefreno, Aston Villa. He's gone back to France, right, to play for PSG. Now Rashford will wear the number 14 jersey for Man United this season. He's back, guys. I really think that Marcus Rashford needs to be given a chance, and Abrantia friend Michael Carrick, who is going to be the coach of Man United this particular season. And Nintia Mekasan said Michael Carrick actually was a teammate of Marcus Rashford a couple of years ago. When Marcus Rashford broke into that Man United team, he was still playing with quite a number of old people. And I think when Michael Carrick also became an assistant coach at some point, he worked with Marcus Rashford. Look, Marcus Rashford is that player who is in need of trust. Because when you look at player trajectory, now in Yamawa film, you can tell for sure that a player, people have not really trusted him so much. And the only way to get the best out of him, get him to play the way he used to play when he broke into that Man United team, got those 2 goals against Liverpool, don't even remember. And he became the talk of town. Marcus Rashford is in need of that trust. He needs somebody to trust him enough, put him in games, right? Give him that confidence to play. Because that has been the boy's story. Surviving when all the odds were against him. Inti obedrum pempen sobina, I said, there's no belief and trust in him. You find it difficult. And that is why we didn't see much of him under Ruben Amorim. Because the way Ruben Amorim suddenly just dropped the ball on Marcus Rashford, it was very heartbreaking for the player. Then he managed to go to Barcelona, and he still he showed us what he was capable of doing. And Barcelona, I really thought that Barcelona would find a way to keep him. But again, the players' wages, it's another thing. The players' wages is what has really kept other teams from trying to sign him on permanently. And that's now, what about back to Man United? I really think that Carrick needs to invest a lot of trust in him and allow the player to flow. Give him that confidence. Give him that ability to, be one of the big men in the team. Let me put it that way. And I think we'll get a lot from Marcus Rashford. So now that he's coming back to United, he needs to have a meeting with Carrick. Carrick really needs to sit him down, not on Casantreno. Tell him what he wants him to do for him. And I think he'll be one of the massive reintegrations into the Man United setup that United have seen in a really long while. So that's what I expect to see. I expect to see that he will come back into that team and he really, light up that particular attack for a Man United team. Guys, this is Onside with me, Joshua Holoto. You can also call me Top High Fabrizio. Guys, another news coming in. Bradley BARCOLA again, but this time not to Liverpool, to Arsenal. Arsenal have made fresh contact with Bradley BARCOLA's camp as they consider a move for the PSG winger. Liverpool remain in pole position to sign the player. PSG value BARCOLA at 150 million euros, but neither Arsenal or Liverpool are willing to make that price. So of course, Liverpool are still negotiating, but Arsenal coming. I've already spoken about Bradley BARCOLA to Arsenal. This sound common. Bradley BARCOLA to Liverpool, no. I think I've never really looked at it from that angle. Say, would he look? The whole point in the say, Bradley BARCOLA all about Premiership, no. He shouldn't think say Oba be having it easy. And I say Oba be ball or be and get anything at all, and you be a star. No. When it comes to Premiership, you need to develop a certain mindset of a warrior who is coming to challenge, who is coming to fight, who is coming to be put to a certain test, and that is that's the message I have for Abrante Fenner Bradley BARCOLA. Because whatever happens, I think he's going to land in the Premier League. To Arsenal, I don't think so, but to Liverpool, highly. To Arsenal, the pressure would have been more because I've already said it. They are the champions and they're going into Europe with an expectation of making it all the way to the Champions League final again. And in that team, they will need standout performers. They will need one player who can carry the team on their shoulder. And if we go and buy you for over 140 million pounds and we bring you into a team and you are not able to do that, now Asemaba. So I don't think that Bradley BARCOLA moving to Arsenal will be the best thing for him because of the pressure. For Liverpool, Andoni Raiola is a fresh manager. He's come in. Maybe he wants him as a marquee signing. He can use him in various ways to get some good results for the team across. He may not have so much pressure on him in Liverpool as compared to Arsenal. See, that's my opinion about that. So we'll see. Then Enzo Maresca, he said that at the moment, Rodri is still a Man City player. He will return to training and he expects the player to be ready for the season. Of course, you all know that Barcelona have agreed personal terms with the player and they've sent a bid. First one has been rejected. They're preparing a new bid. And honestly, I think that Man City are just trying to be a bit stubborn to cash in on the player before they allow him to go. So we'll see. Guys, this has been Onside with me, Joshua Holoto. You can also call me Top High Fabrizio. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, click on the like button, drop in your comments. Tell me what you want me to discuss in the next episode of my transfer activities and also my sports updates and sports conversations. Until I come your way again, I'll see you in the next one.